The trickiest punctuation question on the grammar section of the SAT by far is the comma. I can teach you the rules of proper comma usage that are tested on the SAT so that you can master these and not be intimidated by these questions. Let me explain one important comma usage rule and demonstrate it in some examples. Hi there, I'm Jamie. I've been helping students improve their test scores for over 15 years. I have lots of tips, strategies, and knowledge that I know can help you too. More than half of all the grammar questions on the SAT have to do with a comma. In this video, I will explain how to answer the questions that test the use of the comma with a participial phrase, or what I like to call a descriptive phrase. Okay, so the descriptive phrase will normally contain a verb ending in ing or ed. These phrases will always be next to the subject that they are describing. So we have to ask ourselves, who or what is being described in the phrase? The subject will be after or before the phrase and always separated by a comma. So in this case, dressed in black is the waiter, and paying no attention to traffic is the dog. Notice that in both cases, the subject and its phrase, the descriptive phrase, are separated by a comma. In the first one, we have descriptive phrase, comma, subject. And in the second one, we have first the subject, comma, and then the descriptive phrase. Notice, however, that when it has a descriptive phrase after the subject, it will then be followed by another comma before the verb. Whereas in the first example, we have descriptive phrase, comma, and then the subject, and then the verb. In the second example, we start with the subject, then a comma with a descriptive phrase, another comma, and then the verb. So let's get familiarized with these types of examples so that you can recognize them easily. Let's look at a few. In this example, we see seated at the back of the classroom is describing Mandy. It is separated by a comma. So Mandy is the one that's seated at the back of the classroom. In the next example, we see that the phrase is walking down the street at night, and then it's followed by the comma and the house. And it doesn't make any sense for the house to be walking down the street at night, so this is an incorrect construction. Instead, this should be phrased, walking down the street at night, comma, we saw a house. In this case, we are the ones that are walking down the street at night. Let's take a look at another example. Here we start with the phrase floating in the middle of the pool, followed by a comma, and then the gardener. So this sounds like the gardener is floating in the middle of the pool, and I don't think that's quite the correct construction. So we can change this to floating in the middle of the pool, comma, the picnic basket was found by the gardener. Here, the picnic basket is the one that's floating in the middle of the pool. So how can we recognize these questions on the test? Well, in the language section, we always start with the vocabulary questions first, then the reading comprehension, and then the grammar questions. In the practice test, the grammar questions usually start around number 19 or 20. And to recognize this specific type of question of the comma with a descriptive phrase, you want to look at the answer choices. When you see the answer choices that have the same phrases, but they're all scrambled in different order, that's when you know it's this type of questions. Notice in these examples, you will see that they contain the same words and phrases. They're just all scrambled in different orders. And that way we know that this is one of these types of questions where you have a comma with a descriptive phrase. And the truth is that once you learn how to recognize this type of problem and understand this rule, it becomes really easy and quick to answer. Let me demonstrate with a few examples. We don't have to read the entire passage. We're just going to focus on the descriptive phrase before the comma. Upon recovering 2 years later, we know that it's talking about a person, and the only one that starts with a person is Henry. It can't be the rain, it can't be Henry's rain, and it can't be it. Second example. Despite being cheap, versatile, and easy to produce, this is obviously talking about a thing. In this case, the commercial plastics. It can't be talking about there or two problems or the commercial plastics two associated problems. In the next example, in assessing the films of Japanese director Akira Kurosawa, who's assessing the films? Well, it is many critics. It can't be Kurosawa's use, it can't be there, and it can't be the focus. In this example, the phrase is, since uncovering fragments of a 2,000-year-old reindeer training harness in northern Siberia, who uncovered these fragments? Well, it must be researcher Robert Losey. It couldn't be researcher Robert Losey's argument or domestication or the argument. And there you have it. Not too bad, huh? If you'd like to see another video explaining any specific topic, drop a comment. I'd be glad to help you.